Hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. It is a dark and stormy day, so we have unlocked a new location. I'm actually at my puzzle table, so if you see me ignoring you for a little bit and doing puzzle pieces, that's what I'm doing. I also have my notes here. We are doing December reading wrap-up. I had a good month. I had a couple DNFs, but let's get into statistics first. 17 books. I read 17 books in December. 3,906 pages, 100% fiction, so still working on that. 44% were audio, which means 56 was print, which is fabulous for me. Now, that's a little bit misleading because I do listen and read as I go along, but I only count it if I read more than 50% of the book with my eyeballs instead of my ears. And I did that with a lot of the books. I've been really working on that. Now, 17 books sounds like a lot, but 5 of them were picture books, 6 were middle grade, only 2 were young adult, and 4 were adult. I had an average rating of 4.01. That's really good. 8 were fantasy, 4 were romance, 4 were contemporary. 3 historical, 2 were classics, 2 were literary, 1 each of graphic novel, LGBTQIA+, magical realism, and mystery. I have 2 DNFs. One was a middle grade book called Let It Glow. I was trying to find a Hanukkah story to read in the month of December. This one came across my search. And I started reading it, and I really liked the premise of it. It was this girl whose grandmother lives in a retirement community, and they're putting on a pageant, a Christmas pageant, and she convinces them to do a Hanukkah number in the pageant, and she wants her granddaughter to perform in it. But her granddaughter doesn't feel like she's Jewish enough because they don't really practice the religion at home. And I thought that was a great premise for a story. She can learn about the religion and decide if that's what she wants in her life. But that's not what the story was really about. And you probably can see it because I'm going to put the cover up. It's right there on the cover. What happens is there's 2 different characters that we're following. And the other girl, she has a grandfather that lives with them, but he had a fall and they're worried that they can't take care of him anymore. So they're looking at the retirement community. Well, the 2 girls meet, and it turns out that they were both adopted and they are identical twins. So they decide to switch places. And it was sort of at that point, at about a third of the way through, that I gave up on the story because even though it says on the cover that that's what the story was about, I wanted it to be about her discovering her religion. So I gave up on that. I thought it was well written. I liked the characters. It just wasn't what I wanted. The other book was a translated work called Dinner at the Night Library. I got also about a third of the way through. Just wasn't connecting with any of the characters. I might go back. I'm not sure. I haven't fully decided, but honestly, there's so many books that I want to read, I probably won't. But right now, it's sort of a soft DNF. So I'm going to go into the picture books. We had a book fair during December, and usually I read a lot of picture books during book fair, or readers. 3 of the picture books that I read were from the book fair, or because of the book fair. 2 were in. One is I Am Not Happy. I gave it 4 stars. It's super cute. The artwork in it was adorable. Unicorn Yes Day, I gave 3.75. I thought it was cute. I liked the idea of it. It just wasn't my style. That's all it was. And there were a couple little points that I thought could have been maybe worded differently, would have been better. I don't know. And those 2 were for sale at the book fair. But the book fair is held in the school library. The librarian's cart was there, and she was processing a book to be put into the library. So something they had already purchased somewhere else. And I really liked this book. The Bagel Who Wanted Everything. I gave it 4.5. My daughter gave it less. She gave it like 3. I just thought it was adorable. You'll have to read it and decide for yourself. Somewhere I came across a book called If We Were Dogs. And so I put it on hold at the public library, and it starts off with 2 kids that are underneath the table. We can't see them because there's a tablecloth. And one of them is dominating the conversation and saying that if we were both dogs, I would be this and you would be that, and we would do this and we would do that. And we don't hear from the other person until later, and that's what you want this book for. It was very cute. I gave it 4 1/4. And then the last picture book was called The Invisible Parade, and it's by Leigh Bardugo. The story for me was not really strong. It's about Day of the Dead. It's this girl's first time without her grandfather. She's very sad. Artwork in this is just stunning. It is so, so pretty. So I gave it 4 1/4. Middle grade. My middle grade books. I started off the month reading The Little Prince, which is funny because as soon as I started reading it, I started seeing other people saying that they wanted to read it and that it's on their 26 and 26 lists or just something that they're thinking about. So I thought that was interesting. It is a classic and it is technically a children's book, but a lot of people think that it's an adult book too because it's supposed to make us realize that we need to not take everything so seriously and enjoy the little things. It's kind of a stop and smell the roses kind of a book. But I didn't really need that message and I didn't really enjoy it. So I only gave it 3 stars, which I know is sort of blasphemous, but it just wasn't for me. That's okay. It's about a little boy who is on a planet that is probably only meters in circumference large, and then he goes around to different planets and he meets a man on Earth who he's a pilot and he has crash landed in the desert and he's trying to repair his plane. And so most of it is the two of them talking, and we actually are hearing everything from the pilot's point of view, but I just didn't connect with any of the characters. That's all. I then read Howl's Moving Castle. What to say about Howl's Moving Castle? I really liked it. I didn't love it. It was a little bit, let's say, out of my comfort zone. That's probably the best way to put it. Diana Wynne Jones is the author. And I happened to have the movie too. So I got about halfway through the book and I'm like, I wasn't sure I was connecting with it, that I wanted to continue. So I watched the movie with my family. Explained that, oh, like that's different. Oh, that's the same. That needs more explanation, that kind of stuff. But I was only halfway through the book. So I saw the ending of the movie. I wanted to see how the book ended. And so I do really enjoy seeing the differences between a book and a movie and how one works better maybe in one, but yet this works better in the other. I think that's fun. I gave Howl's Moving Castle 3.75. I did enjoy it. I just didn't love it, that's all. I read A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig, the Midnight Library Matt Haig. It was super cute. Okay, so it's a boy and his father. They live in Finland and they live in like a one-room cabin. The father is going to take off for a few months with some men who have been commissioned by the king to go in search of elves and bring back proof that the elves exist. And the father swears he's only going to be gone for a few months, like 3, maybe 4 tops. And the aunt is going to come and live with them. A lot of time goes by and the father is not back. And so he goes off in search of his father. There were a few incidences that I just didn't really like, especially in a slightly younger children's book. So I gave it 3.75. I also read a Newbery book, which I'm supposed to do each month. The Paperboy by Vince Vaughter is about a boy. It's clearly summertime, even though I was trying to read that in November. He takes over his best friend's newspaper route for a month in the summer of 1959 in Memphis, Tennessee. He has a severe stutter, and so he's really nervous about collecting the money from the people on the paper route, which he has to do every Friday. He kind of comes into his own. It's about growth and understanding and confidence, and it was really good. It wasn't my favorite of the Newberries, but as I say every time, it won the Newbery for a reason. So I gave it 4 stars. Right after that, I read Winter House. It's about a girl who is orphaned, but she lives with her aunt and uncle. They're very, very poor, and they somehow manage to send her to the Winter House over winter break. Now, the Winter House is a famous, luxurious resort that has all sorts of indoor swimming, ice skating, skiing, sledding, snowshoeing, movie theaters, magic performances, all sorts of stuff. And this girl is being sent there, and so there's a mystery around that. Why is she being sent there, and how did her aunt and uncle afford this? And on her way there's a mysterious couple that are just staring at her, and they're kind of creepy. So she settles in, she meets a boy that's about her age, and they become friends, and he shows her around. He spends every winter break at the Winter House, and they play games, and they do all the things I mentioned already. A mystery sort of pops up and they're going to work on it. I really liked it. It's a series. I'm not going to continue on with the series, but I thought it was really cute. And I gave that one 4 stars. And then the last middle grade book I read, which I had heard a lot about, and I really enjoyed it. I only gave it 4 stars, but I might bump that up. And this is a book that's in verse. It's called Maybe. Now her name is something like Mavis Beatrice. Is it Beatrice? Shortened it to Maybe. Anyway, she has dyslexia and she has this takes place in, it's got to be like the 1800s. It's the westward expansion. But she lives in a sod hut with her family and she wants to become a school teacher, but she can't read very well. And so she knows she needs to overcome this, and it's just something that she struggles with. So her parents have pulled her out of school and they're sending her to live with another family that's further west, also in a sod hut, and it's a newlywed couple where the bride is kind of really struggling with things. And so Maybe is sent there to cook and clean and kind of be a companion to this bride, and probably also to teach her how to do these things. And this becomes a survival story. I don't want to give anything away. It was a super cute, super quick story that even I read in one day. So, and I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, I might bump that up because I did really enjoy it. And now young adult. Only 2 young adult. The first one was a graphic novel called Pearl. I read this on December 7th. There's a girl, I want to say she's 12 or 13. If she's 12, she's almost 13. She's enjoying being a teenager in her town and hanging out with her friends. They get a letter from the family that's still in Japan. The grandmother is very sick, but her parents can't go to visit because they have a newborn baby. So they're sending their daughter. So the problem is, as soon as she gets to Japan, the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor. And so she can no longer come back. And she's stuck in Japan. She's an American citizen stuck in Japan. Well, what happens is the Japanese government learns that she's American and they force her to translate for them. And I'm not going to say anything more than that. But it was really good. I really liked it. It was a different version. I try to read a Pearl Harbor kids book every year. I've done that for the last few years. And this was a nice one and a different version of it. So I gave that one 4 stars. I gave a lot of 4 stars this month. Oh, here's the book, Pearl. Pearl by Sherry L. Smith. Finally, I read Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Now, I do understand the issues that people have because there are a lot of time jumps and you have to like the time jumps. So I'm going to refer to them as a he and a she because in the current life, 2022, he's a he and she's a she. And we're in her head. We're hearing everything from her point of view. What happens is they are fated to kill each other in every life before they turn 18. In this current life, she has a sister who is ill and she needs to be there for her to donate, bone marrow, stem cells, something, I forget which. So she needs to live past her 18th birthday. So she's determined to do what it takes to do that. But we're going to time jump between 2022 to like 1800s, to back to current time, to 1500s, to current time, to 1970s. So it does a lot of that back and forth. And so if you don't like that, it's definitely not the book for you. I was never confused as to who is who. Sometimes they are both girls, sometimes they are both boys, sometimes the he is a she and she's a he. It can be any of it, and they fall in love in every life. And they kill each other. When one dies, the other one dies automatically, and then they are almost instantaneously born again into another life. And they've been all over the world and had all sorts of experiences. And the only part I didn't really like was the explanation of why this is all happening. And it wasn't that I didn't like that. I just felt like the scenes were drawn out too much. I think they were too long. And that was all. It was just a minor little thing. So I gave it 4.25 stars. I'm glad I finally read it. All right, now for my 4 adult books. Second Death of Locke. I read Second Death of Locke. I finished my puzzle, or at least I did a majority of my puzzle. I started this puzzle November 1st, and I didn't finish it until nearly the end of December. And it was a difficult puzzle, yes, but it was also really bad lighting because we had so many weeks of doom and gloom like we're having right now. It is just so dark outside. But yeah, so this puzzle took me forever, and I spent the second Death of Locke, I forget how long it is. It's like 17 hours long on the audiobook. I forget what it is, but it's long. It's very long. And so I got a lot of that puzzle done listening to that book. Everybody says, oh, the yearning. Oh, the yearning. It is so well done. Like, you feel the yearning that she has for him. I liked the magic system in this. So it takes two to perform magic. One person has magic in them, but they need a power source, a well. They're called wells. I think they're called wells. So she is the well. He can draw power from her. And somebody who can draw too much and actually kill their well. They've known each other. They were neighbors when they were both little. And so they've worked together for years. They work well together. They know each other really well. And just, again, the yearning. So there are multiple, I'll call them territories, that are at war. And there was an island that had a people that something catastrophic happened. And if everybody on that island had died, then there would be no more magic in this world. But because they do have magic, they know that there was a survivor. And so our pair has been tasked with rescuing. Rescuing is not quite the right word. These enemy people have captured a girl that they think is the survivor. And so our pair assemble a team, and they're going to go after, and they're going to re-kidnap the girl, basically, and hand her over to the powers that be, because everybody thinks that she is the survivor. And if she dies, then there will be no more magic. And so it's a lot of battle scenes, it's traveling, it's being in danger almost constantly. I really, really did enjoy it, which really surprised me because everybody really likes this book, and that usually means I'm not going to. Seriously. But I gave it 4 stars. I don't know why I didn't give it higher, but I wouldn't change it now because honestly, after reading it, I haven't thought of it like once, really. So, love the cover. I believe it's going to be a series, right? So, would I read the second one? Probably, yeah. I think so. The next book I read was The Secret Christmas Library. I didn't really like the name of this because I think the title is misleading. So there is this woman who, I forget what it is that she does, but she found a rare book for her aunt. It was a book that her aunt or her great aunt, I'm not sure, that had belonged to her great aunt. I'm going to say great aunt. And she helped find it. Now, she did use a book finder, a man who, I forget what his name is. I forget what her name is. They worked together to find this book, but she is the one that actually found it. She is at the museum where the book is on display now, and it has a little plaque that has her name as the book finder. Well, she's sitting there having her lunch break, which it sounds like she does every once in a while, because she wants to hear what people say about the book. And this is contemporary, and a big burly Scotsman shows up, and he's asking the person who works there about this book finder, and she's like, excuse me, that's me. And so he's like, you have lunch in front of your book that you found and your plaque? And so and she's like, no, it just happened to be that she was there. Anyway, he's hiring her to find a book that he needs to find. It was his grandfather's, and it's in his house. And she's like, you can't find a book in your own house? So she's very suspicious. She is convinced to go, and he pays for her to get to Scotland. She's not the only one who's going to be looking for it. The guy that had helped her find the other book that she's known for, that they had had a relationship, and then he ghosted her. He is also going to be there, and he's looking at this as a chance to rekindle. And she's like, no. So they get to this Scotsman's house, and it's an old, dilapidated castle with hundreds of rooms and books everywhere. Everywhere there are books. And so now they understand why he can't find a book in his house. And it's a romance, so stuff happens. There's a little bit of mystery, and I'm not going to say anything more. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. It's a kind of I'll say it's more like a 3.9. We'll go with that. But I gave it 4 stars because you can't give 3.9. I also read The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, which I did really enjoy. It is a cute cozy mystery that also happens to have a romance. I seem to remember people reading it last year and they didn't really like it that much. And I think that they were reading it for the romance part of it. And I don't think that the romance part was as strong as the mystery part. And it is very basic, very simple, cozy mystery. Is it high literature? No. But it is everything that you want in a cozy mystery. So we have two authors. One who she publishes cozy mysteries, and he is more of it sounds like he does more of a spy thriller, James Bondy kind of mysteries. And they are both being invited to England for Christmas to a fan's house. Then a mystery ensues and they need to solve the mystery. And of course, it has a romance. But they don't like each other. I just thought it was super cute. Yeah, Ally Carter. I've read Ally Carter before, so I would read more of her mysteries. I gave it 4.5. And the best way to end the year was with Britt Marie Was Here, Fredrik Backman. Britt Marie is a character that shows up in, let's see if I can say it right, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You That She's Sorry. Britt Marie is a character in that book, not a key character or anything, just, Fredrik Backman books have a lot of characters, and they all have distinctive personalities. Well, this book is about Britt Marie, and she's in a small town, and she has to deal with some very dirty children and a damaged car, and it's a Fredrik Backman. It's so good. It does not have the wrap up that he tends to do where it's like this person 5 years later and this person 5 years later and that person 5 years later, but that was an appropriate way to end this book, to not have that. So I definitely highly recommend it. I mean, it is a Fredrik Backman, distinctive characters in each of his books. I gave it 4.25. And that was everything I read in December. It was a good reading month. Let me know what you think. Did you read any of those? Do you have any books to recommend for January? Because we are now in 2026. That's crazy. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.